At the core of this book lies a compelling idea: to explore the intellectual clash between two prominent thinkers based on their public dispute regarding the methodology and objectives of Foucault's initial work, Madness and Civilization, omitting crucial sections discussing Descartes' exclusion of madness at the outset of his Meditations. The disagreement between Derrida and Foucault revolves partly around the interpretation of Descartes' text. Derrida's critique of Foucault and the latter's response have long been available, sparking considerable secondary literature. The exchange between them remains subject to divided opinions, as both scholars receive critiques. Foucault's claims regarding the modern European experience of madness are shown to be somewhat exaggerated, while Derrida's textual analysis also faces scrutiny for its limitations. The central chapter of this book delves into the arguments from both sides, offering a comprehensive overview of Derrida's critique and Foucault's counterargument, alongside a brief examination of relevant secondary literature. This discussion is enriched by preceding chapters, where Boyne sets the stage by exploring the main themes of Foucault's history of madness, and tracing Descartes' arguments in the Meditations. Although Foucault's remarks on Descartes comprise only a small portion of Histoire de la Folie, they are crucial concerning one of his central claims: that his study is not just a history of institutional treatment of the insane, but also a history of the other in modern Western reason. Foucault argues that Descartes excludes the possibility of madness from his conception of the rational subject, akin to the societal exclusion of the insane. Derrida contests this reading, suggesting that Descartes' evil demon hypothesis encompasses a form of total madness, without undermining the certainty of the thinking subject. While the conflicting interpretations are intriguing, they should not overshadow Foucault's historical study. Foucault indeed employs rhetoric portraying madness as the repressed underside of Western rationality, potentially resurfacing in new historical contexts. Derrida critiques this rhetoric, emphasizing its marginal relevance to the historical focus of Histoire de la Folie. Boyne, however, takes Foucault's aspirations further, portraying him as seeking a primitive understanding of madness, or as a modern-day Hegel, striving to transcend dominant forms of reason, which some might view as an exaggeration. Boyne attempts to distill the complex intellectual clash between Foucault and Derrida into a simplified opposition, portraying Foucault as a naive yet utopian thinker, and Derrida as one unable to conceive alternatives to reason. This reduction oversimplifies their differences by relying on a global concept of reason, disregarding nuanced distinctions such as Heidegger's between reason and thought, and ignoring Foucault's historical treatment of proto-scientific discourses about insanity. Boyne's analysis lacks depth in engaging with the substantive issues raised by the debate, as indicated by his shallow understanding of Foucault's archaeological method. Moreover, Boyne's comparison of Derrida and Foucault's subsequent works is flawed. He constructs a fictional intellectual history, suggesting that all of Foucault's later work responds to Derrida's critique of the Madness book. This overlooks the possibility that Foucault might have drawn inspiration from other sources like Nietzsche and Heidegger. Boyne's attempt to find Derridian traces throughout Foucault's Discipline and Punish is unconvincing, as it relies on forced interpretations rather than robust analysis. In the final chapter, Boyne explores the political implications of Derrida and Foucault's work, assuming that their contributions to radical discourse must imply a clear political position or program of action. However, he struggles to find such a position in Foucault's work, framing him as a pessimist, resigned to the inevitability of power dynamics, and lacking a coherent vision for social change. Boyne's criticisms of Foucault's supposed pessimism and lack of moral guidance overlook the complexity of Foucault's ideas, reducing them to simplistic caricatures. Boyne's treatment of the politics of deconstruction falls short, as he reduces it to a simplistic maneuver of overturning hierarchies and celebrating the secondary aspects. He selectively quotes Derrida's endorsement of this view from Positions, but ignores Derrida's subsequent elaboration, which emphasizes the production of irreducible elements beyond the original hierarchy. This oversight undermines Boyne's understanding of deconstruction and its nuanced approach to dismantling binary oppositions. However, Boyne's most astonishing claim is his attempt to conclude his narrative by proposing a common ground between Foucault and Derrida in Kant's categorical imperative. He suggests that their shared concern for the rights of the other represents a remarkable turnaround, given their apparent animosity and skepticism towards Western philosophy. Yet, this interpretation overlooks the fundamental divergence between their philosophies. Foucault's exploration of ancient Greek sexual ethics highlights the virtue of self-imposed ethical restraints, contrasting with the notion of a universal law advocated by Kant. For Foucault, the value lies in the diversity of ethical systems, rather than adherence to a singular principle. Similarly, Derrida's deconstruction challenges the idea of a fundamental or unchallengeable principle, emphasizing the fluidity and multiplicity of meaning. To suggest that Foucault and Derrida's critical journeys lead them back to Enlightenment values ignores the radical implications of their work. Their critiques of presence, universality, and totalization represent a departure from traditional philosophical certainties, rather than a return to them. Boyne's attempt to reconcile their divergent paths overlooks the profound philosophical challenges posed by their ideas.